Hi guys, Heidi here. So today we're going to do something different, no makeup. We are actually going to do some painting. I've had a lot of people ask for videos on how I do this, so figured I'd do one for you. To start with, I actually put push pins in the back, that way the canvas is not sitting in the mess that gets made. If you really want to be clean, you can actually run painter's tape around the back to keep those crisp edges. Not going to worry about that today. Getting started, I already have my colors mixed and I already have my base paints mixed. So we're just going to get going. So to start off with, you have to decide what you want your background color to be. I am actually going to do a mix today, half black and half, cream. And so to start with, I'm going to take my black and I am going to put it on one side of the canvas. And I am going to tilt a little bit to start spreading that back and forth. But to get it spread really well, I'm actually going to use a spatula. I don't have one, but I've heard that the OXO omelet turning spatulas work really good for this. They have a really good flex to them. And really all I'm trying to do here is get kind of a little bit of color on the back of the canvas and over the edges so that I don't have to worry about them not being covered later. So making sure that I'm getting that covered now. So when I have paint run over the edges, that's fine, but I don't have to worry about trying to completely cover the edge of the canvas. Because sometimes when you're doing a design, you're not going to cover all of the sides with paint going over the edge. And so I'm just using my spatula to get paint on those edges. So there's some paint there. And I'm not necessarily worried about full coverage on the top because I am going to be putting a lot of paint on here. But I do want to make sure that my edges are covered. And this is not, like I said, the best spatula for this. It's just what I have. I think I am going to invest in an OXO spatula. I just honestly didn't want to because they're not cheap. But this one doesn't work great. And as you can see, sometimes it drags a little. That's where paint has dried on it. Delilah, quit trying to eat the cat food. Sorry, my dog's over here trying to get in our kitty cozy to eat the cat's food. But for what I am doing, that's good enough. And then I'm going to take my cream paint and I'm going to toothpick through it to make sure that it's decently open. And it's got a clog. So I'm just going to open the container. And I'm going to work on flooding that side of the canvas. And then I'm going to take, same thing, tilt to help direct the paint. This is messy. Underneath, you can get silicone mats. There's one, Loli Duffy makes a really good one. I let my paint dry in here and then I peel it up and I keep those skins for later for other projects. And so, as an example, this is some of the dried paint that I peeled off of the mat. And I can use that to like make earrings or just different things, sometimes incorporate that in a painting. This has a texture. I like that my paint ends up with a texture. The Loli Duffy ones are smooth. It doesn't, but protects your house. And also, because this does tend to, there's a lot of wasted paint when you're doing a paint pour. That's one way to repurpose that paint for something, so it's not quite so wasteful. And I have a little bit of paint mixing right here, but it's okay because that's going to happen anyways with the technique we're using. So it's not, it doesn't have to be a perfect line. just trying to get that contrast from one side to the other. All right, and at this point, I'm going to put on a glove and use my hand to dab any areas that I need to really make sure that that edge is covered. All right. And I'm going to take my glove off for just a second. And what I'm going to do now is, like I said, I already have my colors mixed for this painting. And I'm going to take, and I am going to, we're kind of doing a modified Dutch pour. I am going to run a thick band of my chosen colors down the center. This is a mixture of midnight blue with a little bit of metallic indigo, just to give it some shimmer and give it more of that like phthalo green kind of color. I don't have phthalo green, I'm out, so I made my own. And then next I am going to take, this is Purple Pansy. And I'm going to go right across the top of what I just did with the Purple Pansy. This one is Topaz mixed with a little bit of Sapphire. And then I'm going to run a little bit of copper down this. But for this one, because I kind of want it to be more sporadic in where it goes, I'm not going to do a straight line. And then I'm also going to do just a touch of rose gold. It looks kind of like a purpley gray, but it actually is a metallic that will shimmer once it blends out. And then the last thing I'm going to do is, this is actually my cell activator. None of this paint has silicone in it, so it's not going to create cells. This is my cell activator, and it does. And so I'm going to put this down the center, and this is what we're going to use to blow out the colors to create the cells and lacing. And so I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go right down the center. I'm going to come back right here and kind of even out that line. And then now I'm going to put my gloves back on. And if you have any like chunkies that come out with your paint, or like have a little, I don't know, something there, use a toothpick to get it out. Cat hairs, that happens sometimes. And now I'm going to grab my blow dryer. And I'm going to scoot this just this way, just a little bit. And then I'm going to make sure and hold my cord out of the way. And then I'm going to start to blow this paint out. And so I have the directional nozzle on, so I can hit towards the middle of that white and blow out over the back black. And then I'm going to come back and do the same thing the other direction. And that's what's going to give us the effect. So come in and hit that white and blow. Same thing the other direction. The paint's not wanting to move right there. All right, let's. I actually haven't ever had this happen. Let me switch blow dryers. Sorry for all the racket. I am changing which blow dryer is plugged in. Maybe that blow dryer is a little too warm. Use one that have more control. I switched because this one does not have the directional nozzle, but it allows me to just blow cold air. And if you see some areas where you want to do some additional blowing, you can. You can also switch and blow. You can use a straw. You can use your mouth. They make something called the world's smallest leaf blower, and it looks like a little bitty leaf blower. That works really good. I tend to use a flexible silicone straw. If you're careful with this, though, because you are breathing through it, condensation can happen, so you don't want to blow too much and end up with spit on your paintings. I'm going to try and blow some of this white this way using the straw. And for the moment, I'm going to take my gloves off. Now, my paint went over the edges on this. If I was doing a larger canvas and I wanted it to go over the edges, I might have to pick up and tilt. This is an 8x10. No, this is a 11 by 14. So it went, I had plenty of paint and it went over the edges. Sometimes when you do this, you don't want everything to go completely over the edges, so you don't tilt thin either, but it just depends. But right here, I have some cream background showing, so I want to try and get the white to go this way. And so I'm going to use my silicone straw. There we go. And I kind of like it how it is, so I don't really think I'm going to do anything else to this one. You can, if you're wanting to like create shape or different things in there, you can take many different items and actually pull it through your paint and create different designs. You can take yarn and pull through and create a flower-like pattern. You can take like Mardi Gras beads and pull those through, metal beads. Sometimes I will take the back of a plastic knife and use that to draw and create lines and shapes inside of the painting. I have a sunflower that I did that with yesterday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you down real quick so you can kind of see up close and see what's going on. I am out of butane in my torch, but it's lacing good enough that I wouldn't hit it with the torch anyways, because I don't want any more selling to happen than what's already happening. I really, really like those colors. But I'm going to go ahead and bring you down so that you can see up close the detail. Here we go. So this is the sunflower that I was talking about. And I did all of the design and shaping in that using plastic utensils and my straw. So you can get up close. You can see the lacing that's happening. So there you go. I will include my Facebook and YouTube links in the description, as well as my PayPal me in case you want to donate to future projects. I do take custom orders, so you can message me if you have an order request. But otherwise, have a wonderful day. Love you. Stay creative. Bye.